Halloween. Well, not the first slasher film, because Psycho and Texas Chainsaw came long before. It did get kind of the ball rolling. The film begins with jack-o'-lantern and opening credits, set to the Halloween theme created by John Carpenter because he's a real Renaissance guy. Then it's Halloween night, 1963, in Haddonfield, Illinois, which was based off of Haddonfield, New Jersey, even though this film was completely done in West Hollywood. We see a POV of someone approaching a house, watching two people making out, and they head upstairs to do the monster mash. They grab a knife from the kitchen. Okay, the guy just redressed and left in like a minute. We grab a mask and we find out the POV is of Michael as he starts stabbing his naked sister. And I guess he starts staring at his hand stabbing her so he doesn't have to stare at his naked sister. He leaves, walking straight into the parents. Turns out Michael is only 6 years old. The 6-year-old is played by Will Sandon, while the arm is Deborah Hill, the co-creator. Also, Michael's clearly showing early signs of being farsighted. We cut 15 years later to Trickster Night. Dr. Samuel Loomis, named after the boyfriend from Psycho, is played by Donald Pleasance, while originally he was supposed to be played by Peter Cushing. He's getting driven by Marion to go pick up Michael for court. But man, someone left the door open on the asylum and everyone's leaving. Loomis goes to check as Marion gets attacked and gets GTA'd by Michael. A whole day drive later and we make it back to Haddonfield. More signs that it's California is all the trees have green leaves. So the crew had to literally paint a bunch of leaves red and toss them around like confetti. Totally seamless, especially because we'll see palm trees in the background eventually. Either way, this is Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis in her first major role.
The Baroness Hayden Guest. It's true. She's married to Christopher Guest, right? The great comedian and writer from Spinal Tap. So Christopher's dad died last year, and this summer Christopher took his seat in the House of Lords as the 5th Baron Hayden Guest, and he has to wear the wig and everything. Her very first job was in the TV series Operation Petticoat when she was 19 years old, which was ironic because her father, Tony Curtis, had starred in the movie Operation Petticoat. And then her second job was as the screaming heroine in Halloween, which was also ironic because her mom, Janet Leigh, was famous as the screaming heroine in Psycho. Anyway, and Jamie and Linda Blair were the two queens of horror for quite a few years there in the late 70s, early 80s.
Her and a kid named Tommy she's going to babysit later meet up and walk to school. But first they drop off a key at the Myers place. But someone is seemingly watching her. She looks away, and Michael drove away. I guess they taught him how to drive at the asylum. Loomis talks to Dr. Wynn, but he won't be important for like 4 or 5 movies. Another California thing is the open schools. Older kids pick on Tommy that the boogeyman's after him. One of them bumps into Michael, but he's not looking for him, he's looking for a different kid. Meanwhile, Loomis is on pursuit, and he finds Michael's scrubs. Loomis does not find the body of Phillips, who Michael stole his boiler suit from. Michael then replaced his obvious car with the truck because Michael can't drive stick. Laurie meets up with her friends Annie and Linda, and the babysitter squad walks together.
Hey, jerk! Speed kills!
Oh, you motherfucker! No, Mike. Remember what they taught you at the hospital, just let it go. Maybe later. So yeah, Laurie and Annie are babysitting, and they're going to be across the street from each other. Ain't that fun? Michael then watches them next to a dead hedge. He walks off, and the guys don't find them. So either Michael's in like the plants next to the wall of the house, or he's in the backyard. But later, Laurie sees Michael doing laundry. Okay, he literally teleported there. She didn't even blink. One silent call, and then another call by Annie, and they're going to carpool together. Now, the big mistake was not bringing Raggedy Ann, because she would have defeated Michael easily.
I'd rather go with Ben Tramer. Ben Tramer?
That is John Carpenter's character from The Fog. They huff past, but they gotta put it out because the sheriff is near, and the sheriff is also Annie's dad.
You blame everything on kids.
Well, now all they took was some Halloween mask, rope, and a couple of knives. Who do you think it was?
It's hard growing up with a cynical father.
Meanwhile, Loomis finds that Michael's sister's gravestone's been stolen. That night, Michael's finally ran out of gas and now he's walking around. And Sheriff and Loomis have teamed up and investigate the Myers house, finding a dead dog which Michael may or may not have eaten.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
It's weird that they're having such trouble finding Michael because Tommy finds him in like 3 seconds at Annie's. Annie's babysitting Lindsay, a very young Kyle Richards. Then she spills butter on herself, so it's time to get naked in a stranger's house. Michael gets attacked by a dog, and he becomes a dog handler for this scene. Laurie and Tommy are watching The Thing, not the John Carpenter remake, like the 50s original one, which you should watch my review of the John Carpenter remake, and I'll do the other one eventually. Annie goes to do her laundry in the garage, but the door sticks. So John Carpenter has to call Lindsay to unlock the door. Don't worry about it. The new plan is for Lindsay to be dropped off to be Laurie's problem, and Annie goes to deal with her boyfriend. But Michael's in the car with her. I guess I should also mention by this point that mostly Michael's played by Nick Castle, who's credited as The Shape. Some kid shit and other kids are planning to go into the haunted Meyer house, but Loomis scares them off. As Linda and her boyfriend Bob arrive, they get drunk and go fool around in the place that Annie was supposed to be watching. Bob goes to raid the fridge, but Michael says that's completely rude, it's not even your house. Bob in this lighting looks like someone's grandma, right? Michael stabs Bob to the door, and even he's confused how Bob isn't falling from gravity as he tilts his head. He then steals Bob's glasses and puts a sheet on, just to mess with her, I guess. She calls Laurie, but Michael starts choking her out. After spending all night at the Myers house, Loomis just now notices the car Michael stole, parked across the street. Laurie in her high pants goes across the street to investigate what's going on with Judith, finding Annie passed out after stealing a gravestone. Oh, she's so wacky. Bob, what are you doing? You're not a vampire. This is all just a Quaker Oats-related accident. Michael goes to stab Laurie, but he misstepped and only slashed her arm. But this causes her to fall down the stairs. And even with 2 fractured legs, she outruns Michael. The neighbors aren't listening, so she runs back to Tommy's. But oh no, the windows! So Laurie stabs him with a knitting needle. But he's fine. So she hides in the closet. But Michael hates those goddamn wire hangers. During scenes where Michael has to burst through doors and stuff, he's played by Tommy Lee Wallace, the set designer and co-editor. Laurie stabs Michael again, and Michael goes down for a second again. Laurie tells the kids to go to the neighbors, and Michael gets up again. The kids run out screaming, alerting a wild Loomis, as Laurie's getting strangled by Michael, but she's able to pull that mask off, actually revealing Michael Myers' face, which a lot of the sequels will pretend never happened. His face is Tommy Moran, who gets credited accidentally saying he's 23 while Michael's actually 21. Putting that mask back on gives Loomis enough time to walk in and start blasting. Michael falls off the balcony as stuntman Jim Winburn. He lays there until Loomis looks over and he disappeared into the night with no trace. Laurie's traumatized as we see photos throughout the film. Fun fact, the Myers house still stands. It was repainted, moved, and now is a chiropractor's house. Final body count: 5 with 2 dogs. And yeah, this film started a trend for a very good reason. The acting, especially from Donald Pleasence, is very good. The characters are likable. Michael being the first traditional slasher killer is very creepy, stalking his prey and eventually getting them, even if it does take him quite a long time to do it. The urban setting for the time was very unique. It's not like off in the middle of nowhere, a haunted house, which adds to the creepiness because this could happen to anyone. Especially the ending where Michael escapes adds a great sense of dread. Also, I should mention, because this film was very shoestring budget, they had to get whatever mask they could, and they picked a William Shatner mask. They widened the eyes, teared off the eyebrows and sideburns, messed up and dyed the hair, and painted it white. Which makes it kind of look like William Shatner from The Devil's Reign, which I've already reviewed. But yeah, this is definitely a classic worth watching. 10 out of 10. Make sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button if you're new, and maybe even hype it up.